Hello humans, my name is Kevin Cook and I'm about to tell you some of the most bizarre and strange things that happened to me or that I observed during my 6 years of living in China. And the stories here are a total mixed bag, ranging from bizarre to funny to epic to wholesome, and then finally I include my one and only ghost story. Now without further ado, let's begin. I became a meme. For anyone who's lived in China for an extended period, you're probably familiar with some of the basic questions that you're asked over and over again by strangers. So I had the idea to design a shirt that would preemptively answer these questions, and then I had the shirt printed. I had a friend take a picture of me and then I shared it to my social media. The picture went viral and I became a meme overnight. For those of you who can't read Chinese, the first question answers where I'm from, number 2 is how old I am, number 3 is what I'm doing here, number 4 is how long have I been in China, and number 5 is if I have a girlfriend. It was nuts how many people started messaging me, sending me this photo within just a couple days of me publishing it to my social media. It really was a trip. Taxi driver. A few years ago, I encountered one of the rarest Pokemon that you can encounter in the wild. A 5-star rated taxi driver. When you take a taxi in Shanghai, check out their tag info. You can see their driver number and their star rating. If the number starts with a 0, they've been driving for a really long time. If it starts with 00, then you're riding with a master. Also, the more stars, the more accolades. This really is a rare encounter, and in fact, for some perspective on how cool this is, only once in my life before this had I encountered even a 3-star taxi. His surname is Wu, meaning shaman or wizard, and honestly, this guy is like a taxi wizard. And he's been driving for 40 years as a Shanghai taxi. Humanity's weakness. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but I'm about to show you one case where that might be the exception. This is less a story and more a profound realization I had. One afternoon, a friend of mine brought a book over to my house. This is the Chinese translated version of Dale Carnegie's famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now take a look at the title, 人性的弱点, which translates to humanity's weakness. Notice a difference here? This is one of the reasons why I love studying Chinese. Not so that I can point out the peculiar differences in translation, but so that I can peer through the window into the Chinese psyche a bit. I've read the English version. It does, in fact, lay out a ton of case studies of how to subtly manipulate people into doing what you want without them noticing. I included that in this video because after seeing that title, it really was a bizarre realization for me. Just understanding how blunt Chinese people can be. Dale Carnegie clearly employed his own sugar-coated tactics when he wrote the title of this book, whereas the Chinese version did not beat around the bush and instead clearly stated, this is how you take advantage of people. National champion. In 2014, I joined the Shanghai Warriors American football team. This team was part of a full-contact, full-speed, full regulation American football league with teams all around the country. We practiced weekly and had games every couple of weeks, sometimes traveling to different cities to compete. And in January of 2016, the national championship was staged in Shanghai between the two best teams in the country. And in fact, this match was televised. Our team, the Shanghai Warriors, competed and won this game in an epic finish that became one of the best athletic experiences of my life. How bizarre to grow up in Texas playing insanely competitive high school football, but never winning a state championship, only to move to China and a decade later bring home a national championship. Good Samaritan? One morning when I was in Xi'an last year, I woke up early to go exercising in one of the public parks. And if you've been to those parks early in the morning between 6 and 7 a.m., it's a very social experience to go out there and exercise. So anyway, after I finished exercising, I was hungry and I went to go find a snack, and I found a sweet potato vendor, and I love sweet potatoes. I eat them all the time. And I was sitting on a stoop eating a sweet potato, minding my business, when a middle-aged Chinese woman just walked up to me, looked me square in the eye, and handed me a 10 renminbi bill without saying anything. And then she just walked away. To this day, I still don't understand that experience. It made this list only because it's one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to me. And now, I'm gonna finish this video with the one and only ghost story that I have. It was the summer of 2017, and I went with a group of people to Yangshuo. We were there to work on a video project, but on the last day of shooting, the town saw a torrential downpour and was completely flooded. And we were stranded there. And obviously this changed our plans, so we had to find another nearby hotel where we could stay for the night. The most nearby place that we found was called the Outside Inn. It's a really unique hotel that had been converted from an old village in the mountains to this really unique theme hotel after it was bought by the Dutch owner. Anyway, that night, because there was no electricity, all that we had were candles because all of our phones were dead. It was the darkest night that I've ever seen. It was pitch black. So we all returned to our rooms, candles in hand, and these were these really unique, antique-ish old rooms. And after crawling into bed, when you blew the candlelight out, that's it. You had no more light. That night, I had a dream that I saw a white face looking down at me from above my bed. And suddenly I woke up, and the covers, the sheets were off my body, and of course, I scrambled to put them back on. And anyway, I fell back to sleep, and I didn't think much of it until the next morning. When we were all sitting down for breakfast, I sat across from Raven, who was with us, and she told me that last night she had seen a ghost. She told me that in her room there was this really old red mirror that was above the bed, and according to the rules of feng shui, you should never put a mirror where it can view a bed, because if someone dies in that room while they're sleeping, their ghost will see its reflection in the mirror and get terrified and be stuck in the world of the living. I don't really believe in ghosts, but that experience was very interesting. There are so many stories that I wish I could have included, but due to either ethical or legal reasons, I had to omit them. So maybe one day I'll write a book, who knows. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to leave a comment, let me know what you think, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.